You want to smile for? So we've just got off the webinar half an hour ago, and we had a really incredible webinar this morning because it is Mental Health Week, and Bob always runs a webinar once a week, and we're on week 39, Jonny, and we've been running this webinar since the first lockdown of the first week. Yeah. And so we have been now changing the format to question time, and this week we invited you to come on for the webinar to talk about mental health because you're such a leader in this space. Would you just, for our community and Bob, and we've got 1,500 odd businesses that are all purpose-led in this community, would you just tell them who you are and what your business is?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm Jonny, and so my organization is all about mental health, and particularly youth mental health. We know that most mental health issues start in adolescence, and we don't address it properly. Nowhere around the world is kind of getting it right. Like, we need to be focusing on what we call the preventative end of mental illness, or the early intervention end, but we focus on mental health at the crisis end so often, and so we're trying to change that with our organization.
Do you know, really, I interviewed Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. I don't know if you got to see that interview at the Unite on Purpose Summit. Yeah. And he talked about, very much about that you go to a GP, literally have you 3 minutes with the GP and they put a bandage on something and then they basically send you out the room. Yeah. And he's he was from a GP background. He's now very famous and, got a massive podcast around the world. And he talks about the same thing, that if you can get in early enough with somebody, not just for mental health, but for all types of illnesses, then you would prevent so much of this taking place. Right. Look, tomorrow is your big day. Yeah. You've got your festival, and it's your first ever festival, which is uniting people, all children, but also adults and teachers as well. Could you talk to us about what the festival is?
Yeah, absolutely. So this festival was kind of born out of the pandemic, really. I mean, we know the pandemic has had a huge impact on people's mental health, particularly children, children being off school and then in school and then off school and then in school, out of routine, missing their friends and their social interaction, missing being outside. I mean, it's really tough, So we created this festival basically to help children and young people, to give them the tools they maybe need right now. And as you say, to help teachers. I mean, the stress that they've been under, a lot of them having to do lessons live, which, they're not used to, they're not prepared for. And parents and families, we've got this lockdown in the UK, and I know so many parents that are really struggling with having to homeschool and balance work. And it's tough. So we've got something for everyone tomorrow in our lineup. And yeah, we're really excited. We want it to be the start of something, not just a one day, as we've spoken about, not just a one day event and then that's it. No, we want it to be the start of, really putting in place the help and support and the kind of mental health education that people need. People just don't get it. They I don't think mental health is taken seriously enough, particularly in terms of young people. If you think of things like maybe obesity, we talk about like obesity a lot when it comes to young people and trying to tackle that, but we just don't tackle mental illness enough, particularly in terms of our youth.
And how can people, is it too late? Can people still join in? How would you get a school involved in this? Because you've got 1,000 schools. Have you signed up to this? How could we bring another 1,000 for you? And also, how could we do a call to action and ask everybody in the Facebook community to speak to their school and get involved with your festival? Would that be something that we could do? Can people in the community come and join the festival tomorrow? Can I bring my kids on the festival? Tell me about that.
Wow, absolutely, 100%. So there's a link to our lineup tomorrow, our live lineup that maybe we can add to the Facebook group. And everyone can get involved. We've planned it so there's something for everyone, something for the little ones. We've got things like mindfulness for the young kids, and then we've got more serious topics for maybe teenagers, topics on maybe addiction and body image. We've got people like Katie Piper and Dame Kelly Holmes. Dame Kelly Holmes is doing a workout for young people and for adults. We really want this, parents to join in with their kids and teachers as well. We want it all to be very collaborative. So there's still time to sign up and to join in. School, college, wherever you are in the world, you just go to our website and just sign up. But if you don't sign up, that's fine. You can still access the live webinars and sessions that are happening, and they're all going to be on our website. And we'd love you to tune in and get involved, and obviously turn your clothes inside out. Exactly. Yeah. So basically, we're trying to get the message across that what you see on the outside isn't always what's going on the inside. And if we can just get the inside out and start talking about it, it makes such a big difference. So we'd love you to wear your clothes inside out, get the label showing, because it will start a dialogue. When you go to your Zoom meetings or your Microsoft Team meetings and people say, why are you wearing your top inside out? And then you can start the dialogue. And then it's amazing. Once you start talking about mental health, the ripple effect is incredible. As it just takes that one person to just be like, it's been a tough week, it's been a tough day. And then the ripple effect, people saying, oh, actually, yeah, I've had a really tough day. And then finally you can open up and start this conversation that we need to have.
Do you know, it's so interesting because I've only ever run my own businesses, and I think about all the different people that I've worked with through my life and career. And one of the things that I've always said to people is, you'll say to somebody, how are you? But do you really ask? Do you really want to know the answer? Or you're just going, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? And the reality is, and I love what you've done with Turn Your Clothes Inside Out. What I heard you say was, and I wrote this down, to be kind always, as you never know how someone feels inside. And if you can take a moment for kindness, and instead of going, how are you? Yes, I'm fine. How are you? But actually go, how are you? Genuinely, how are you? Talk to me. I'm here. And somebody may go, do you know what? I'm having a smashing day. Great. But celebrate that. But somebody may go, actually, I'm in the shitter right now. I'm not feeling great at the moment. And you might then take a moment with your loved one, with your kids, with your people that you work with, and actually take a moment in kindness and go, actually, how are you? And I really got that from you today. I have to say, I wrote it down on my pad, and I wrote, to be kind always, as you never know how someone's feeling inside.
You really don't. And I mean, the thing that I do, and I'm guilty of this as well, when I join a Zoom meeting or Microsoft Team meetings, always happens, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy. And the other person says, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. We do that. And it's really interesting. I mean, what I try and do is I try and kind of get underneath that and say, oh, are you dealing with that okay? And it's interesting. People will say, oh, actually, do you know what? Yeah, it's been really tough. And if we can just push a little bit more, there's a really great campaign, which I love, called Ask Twice, when it comes to mental health. And it's all about, you ask someone, are you okay? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm fine. And if you think that something isn't fine, go back and ask them again. And, particularly with men, we know men find it so hard to open up, but just gently pushing, just, mate, are you sure you're all right? And then, finally the walls might come down and they'll say, no, actually, no, it's really tough. And then you can start that conversation. But, I encourage everyone to get involved. We need to talk about this, and it's amazing. Just one conversation, it can save a life, it can make the biggest difference, I know.
As you know. So for anybody that hasn't listened to Jonny's story, there are different places that you can listen to it. From Bob's place, you can go and listen to the Unite on Purpose Summit. There's a link. We'll put the link into his masterclass. You did the most beautiful heartfelt masterclass, and I sat and really listened to the words that you said about your masterclass that will talk about your story and your journey of mental health. You can listen to the webinar from today, because also we had an incredible conversation half an hour ago. We'll put the link into the Facebook community, so anybody that wants to listen to the webinar and then connect in with Jonny, I'm sure they can get you on pretty much any social channel. And then are there any other places? You have a book, don't you, that you wrote?
Yeah, got a book that I wrote a couple of years ago called The Stranger on the Bridge. And then we've got another one coming out in April, which is actually all about hope. It's called The Book of Hope. And it's all about all sorts of different people talking about how they've overcome adversity and found hope. And it's such a timely book because, you know, I know so many people that have really struggled the past year and struggled to find hope. You know, we're being bombarded by news that's really tough. It's really tough. And we talked about hope earlier. Hope is so important. It's so vital. So yeah, hopefully this book will give some people some inspiration.
And you know, because I rewatched your masterclass before you came on, because I wanted to get it back into my embodiment. And I said to you when I first opened up the interview on the webinar, the key thing that really resonated with me was the hope piece. The fact that you transitioned in that pathway to go from no hope, despair, as many people do sit in the world at certain points in their lives, maybe not to the extreme of yours, but maybe many people sit in a space of no hope. And actually, when you have hope, it's the thing that drives you on purpose, purposefully through your life. And one of the key takeaways that I got from our webinar that I'll just say that really struck with me for you was that you said, at one point, you didn't have the purpose and you struggled with that. And when you found your purpose, it brought meaning. It gave meaning to your life. And I wrote that down. Yeah. And I loved that, because for me, when you connect in and remember who you are, what your purpose is, and it can come from all different adversity. So purpose doesn't just come from something beautiful. Purpose can come from something dark. But what is dark and what is light? Because out of something like that can transition you into something great. And I watch you as a role model, Jonny, and I have to say you are an absolute role model to so many people, from a place of being truly humble and live with that every day. And in the webinar, you brought that to us. And actually, you give people hope, I believe. And I truly mean that. And for people, I would strongly suggest that if there's 1% of you in that festival tomorrow, then I really strongly suggest that people log on, join in, get on board with what you're doing, because, you know, mental health is a real thing and it sits in the heart of everybody to a certain extent. And it's how you manage your energy, how you live in a space of hope, that you can get your space into a positive space. So
absolutely. No, absolutely. And we want everyone to be involved in this, for sure. You know, no matter what age you are, whether you're 4 or 44 or 84, doesn't matter, you know, just get involved. And yeah, we want everyone to take something away, something that's going to really help them on their journey. So we'd just love you to be part of it.
So the last thing I would say is, on the webinar, we did a call to action, and we said, for the Bob community, and you can start today if you want to get your community to embrace this, could you take your clothes off, literally, and turn your top inside out? You can put it back on again. And could you take a photo? So take your top off, take a photo of it back on again, but turned inside out. Could you put on there something that's around, something hopeful, put a caption on there, what's your purpose? And then could you link it with the festival and put your hashtag, which is, remind me of the hashtag.
Oh, the hashtag is Let's Go Beyond.
Let's Go Beyond, and maybe put hashtag Unite on Purpose as well. And could we get this campaign running for Jonny through the community? And what I'm going to ask of you is, can you at 10 people into your photo? So we can be one of them and we will tumble it for you, but make sure you at 10 people in, because there's 1,500 people in this community. And if we can get 1,500 people times the 10 people or 20 people that are working in their business, now you're on some serious numbers. So if we can do that, and it's tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. So turn your clothes today. Make sure you do it tomorrow, because it is officially tomorrow. And let's get the campaign running with Jonny.
Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on the webinar this morning. And for all the Bob community, we do invite different people on to do question time. This week happened to be Mental Health Week. And next week, we'll be doing a different topic all around how do you rebuild for a new era and a brand new earth. Thank you so much, Jonny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.